Welcome back to Mr. Scott Maths. In this video we're going to take a look at how to multiply numbers that are written in standard form. Though of course if there are any other topics you'd like me to cover, please leave a comment down below and I'll get to that video as soon as I can. Also make sure to like and subscribe to make sure that you don't miss any future videos. So in this video we're looking at multiplying two numbers written in standard form. So just a reminder of what that means. Our numbers in standard form, they have a number between 1 and 10 multiplied by 10 to the power of something. So for example, 2 times 10 to the power of 3, that's a number written in standard form. And we're multiplying it by another number written in standard form, 4 times 10 to the power of 5. And the answer we want to get is going to be an answer that's also going to be in standard form. So how do we do this? Well, let's look at this first example. 2 times 10 to the power of 3 multiplied by 4 times 10 to the power of 5. Well, what we can do is we can actually rearrange this multiplication. So in the same way that, say, 2 multiplied by 3 would be equal to 3 multiplied by 2, it doesn't matter which order we do it in, we can rearrange these to make it a little bit easier for ourselves. So we could put our two numbers that are between 1 and 10 together. So we first off have 2 multiplied by 4. And then we could put our two powers together. So multiplied by 10 to the power of 3 and multiplied by 10 to the power of 5. Now we can actually work out what these multiplications would give us. So 2 multiplied by 4, of course that's going to give us 8. And then 10 to the power of 3 multiplied by 10 to the power of 5. Well, we need to remember that when we're multiplying powers together, we just need to add our two powers. So because we've got the same number as our base number, we can just add the 3 and the 5 together. Well, 3 add 5 gives us 8. So it's going to be 8 multiplied by 10 to the power of 8. So we've done all that correctly, but we do just need to check at the end that the number we've got is still in standard form. And remember, that means we need a number between 1 and 10 multiplied by 10 to the power of something. Well, have we got that? Well, we've got an 8 out the front, so that is between 1 and 10, so that's absolutely fine. It's multiplied by 10 to the power of 8, so it's multiplied by 10 to the power of something, so it's absolutely fine. So our answer for this one, 8 times 10 to the power of 8. Now let's look at another example. So we've got 3 times 10 to the power of 7, multiplied by 1.5 times 10 to the power of 4. Again, let's rearrange this to make it a bit easier for ourselves. So we'll put our two numbers together at the start. 3 times 1.5. And then multiplied by 10 to the power of 7. And multiplied by 10 to the power of 4. So let's work out what each of these are going to be. Well, 3 times 1.5, that's going to give us 4.5. And then 10 to the power of 7 multiplied by 10 to the power of 4. Remember, we've just got to add our two powers together. 7 add 4 gives us 11. So we get 4.5 times 10 to the power of 11. And then just finishing off, just double checking that we're still in standard form. Well, our number at the front is 4.5. That is between 1 and 10, so that's absolutely fine. We're multiplied by 10 to a power. So again, we're absolutely fine. So our answer would be 4.5 times 10 to the power of 11. Now let's look at another example. This time we've got 3 times 10 to the power of 6 multiplied by 4 times 10 to the power of 5. Well, let's start off exactly the same. Let's put our numbers together and then our powers together. So 3 multiplied by 4 multiplied by 10 to the power of 6 multiplied by 10 to the power of 5. And then we can work out what each of these are. So 3 times 4, that would give us 12. And then 10 to the power of 6 times 10 to the power of 5. We just need to add our powers, of course. 6 add 5 gives us 11. So it's times 10 to the power of 11. Now let's just double check that we're still in standard form. Well, remember, we need a number between 1 and 10 multiplied by 10 to the power of something. Well, what have we got at the front? We've got a 12. Well, that's bigger than 10. So actually, we've drifted away from standard form a little bit, and we need to then put our number back into standard form. So to do this, we can change this 12 into a 1.2 because we want this number between 1 and 10. And to turn it into a 1.2, what we've had to do is to divide this 12 by 10. So if we divided by 10, the way to balance that back out again would be to multiply by another 10. So 1.2 times by 10. And then we still got this times by 10 to the power of 11. Well, 10 multiplied by 10 to the power of 11, that's just going to be another 10 that we're multiplying this power of 10 by. So we can change this 10 to the power of 11 to a 10 to the power of 12. So our final answer would be 1.2 times 10 to the power of 12. And now we're in standard form because we've got a number between 1 and 10 and we've got our power of 10 that we're multiplying it by. Let's look at one more example. This time we have 2.5 multiplied by 10 to the power of 7 times 5 times 10 to the power of minus 2. Again, let's move this into an order that makes it a little bit easier to work with. So 2.5 multiplied by 5 multiplied by 10 to the power of 7 multiplied by 10 to the power of minus 2. So 2.5 times by 5, that's going to give us 12.5. And then 10 to the power of 7 times 10 to the power of minus 2. Well, we're still adding our powers, but because we've got a negative here, 7 add negative 2 is actually then going to go down to positive 5. So we're going to get 10 to the power of 5. And then again, we need to just double check that we've got this in standard form. But again, that we've got a number that's bigger than 10 out the front. So we need to change this 12.5. We can divide it by 10, same as last time, and it will become 1.25. And then to balance it out, we've got to, of course, multiply by 10. So that way we're getting the same number overall. And then this 10 times 10 to the power of 5, well, that's just another 10 multiplied by this power of 10 that we've already got. So we'll end up with a 10 to the power of 6. So our final answer, 1.25 times 10 to the power of 6. Okay, there'll be a couple of questions now for you to have a go at. So if you just want to pause the video for this first question, we've got 1.2 times 10 to the power of 9 multiplied by 3 times 10 to the power of 6. If you pause the video for a moment, I'll go through this in a second. So let's go through this question here then. So first of all, we want to rearrange our numbers. So 1.2 times 3 we'll have out the front. And then multiplied by 10 to the power of 9 multiplied by 10 to the power of 6. Well, 1.2 times 3, that's going to give us 3.6. 10 to the power of 9 multiplied by 10 to the power of 6, we can add our powers. 9 add 6 would give us 15. And then just again double checking that we're in standard form. Well, we've got a number between 1 and 10, the 3.6, and we've got a power of 10 that we're multiplying it by. So 3.6 times 10 to the power of 15, absolutely fine. One last question for you to have a go at now. So 4 times 10 to the power of 7 multiplied by 6 times 10 to the power of 3. Again, I'll just ask you to pause the video for a moment and I'll go through this one in just a second. So to do this one, again, we've got to rearrange our numbers so that we can work them out a little bit easier. So we go 4 times 6 out the front, multiplied by 10 to the power of 7, multiplied by 10 to the power of 3. Well, 4 times 6, that gives us 24. And then 10 to the power of 7 times 10 to the power of 3. 7 add 3 gives us 10. So we get 10 to the power of 10. But this time we've got a number out the front that's too big. It's bigger than 10. So to rectify that, we can divide it by 10. So this 24 will become a 2.4. And we've got to balance it out by multiplying by 10 to make sure we haven't actually changed our overall number. So our final answer, we've got to sort out this 10 times 10 to the power of 10. Well, that's just going to be 10 to the power of 1 times 10 to the power of 10. We'd end up with 10 to the power of 11. So our final answer will be 2.4 multiplied by 10 to the power of 11. Make sure to like and subscribe for more maths videos.